Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and I really do hope that you guys enjoyed a bit of the non-deck list type content that happened this week. And yes, it was a little more than I would like to have in a week, but I felt like those three topics were so good together. The how to start a collection and what you're going to need, the how to manage your collection, and of course, how to expand on it with trading. I felt that those three things really needed to be said almost in the same breath. And because of that, yes, there were 3 days of no deck lists. So, to show you guys that number one, I've got deck lists for you. I got kind of serious with a core that I had just recently picked up, which was Utopia. I went ahead and made my own little twist to it. Maybe it's not my own little twist. Maybe this is something that other players better than myself have already come up with for you guys. But real quick, it's not very often I have it, but I actually have a dual center that goes along with this one. So we're just going to go ahead and keep him out like all video so you guys can enjoy looking at that. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get you guys a 40-card main deck and 15-card extra deck Utopia deck profile. So the first thing we're going to start with is going to tongue twist me, and it's going to keep happening all video. So bear with me, guys. I know how I'm doing it already. I know that I don't know how to speak, and I think you guys have picked up on that too. So real quick, 2 copies, Dwarf, Go Glove. 2 copies is really good. 3, yeah, you could probably find room for it, but 2 works out just fine. We got 3 copies, Utopic, Onomatopoeia. Very good card, excellent in this build. We're going to have 3 ZS, and I'm going to say that's Zexal Sages. We're going to be playing the Ascended Sage here. Then we're also going to play 3 of the ZS Armed Sage. Very good cards in combination. We're going to have 2 copies, Zubababancho, Gaga Coat. Again, this is super tongue twister today. We're going to run 3 singles of Zexal weapons. We're going to run the ZW Lightning Blade, the ZW Pegasus Twin Saber, and the Zexal weapon Tornado Bringer. Moving over to our spells, we're going to have Called by the Grave, because again, nothing more upsetting than getting hit with a hand trap in the middle of you trying to perform. Double or Nothing, because, it's not a Utopia deck if you don't run this strategy. 3 copies, Generation Force. Single copy, Monster Reborn. What was it? 3 Onomatopoeia, which means it should be 3 Automata pickups. 2 copies, Rank Up Magical Zexal Force, or Magic Zexal Force. Very good rank up magic. We're going to be using this one like crazy. We're going to have a single reinforcement of the army. We're going to run 3 copies, Xyz Change Tactics. This is actually really great. And we're going to finish out with 3 copies, Zexal Construction. And in my 3 traps, and again, you guys can budget this one down a little bit for yourselves. I'm running triple impermanence. Solemn Strike works a treat in the same position. If you guys would rather maybe just throw effect veilers in there, you guys can do that. Really, this is a free space. You guys can do whatever you guys want here. This is the route that I chose this time. I wanted to make sure this deck was going to hit and hit hard, and Impermanence tends to do that better for me. So that is our main deck, and of course the budget, wow, is blown apart with Impermanence. So again, like I said, you guys could substitute. The best substitute is usually Strike. It's going to give you more versatility in play, while also having been common in a structure deck that's still fairly recent, and I can still find on shelves at my local retailers and hobby shops. So shouldn't be too big of a problem to run strikes. Our extra deck is actually going to be very basic. Don't know why that's there. It goes. We got the single Abyss Dweller, single Exaton Knight, and again, this could be switched out for just about any other rank 4 that you guys like. I like him just in case I get behind, so I always run it. Single copy Gaga Magician, more on him later. 1 Samurai. We're going to maximize out our number 39 Utopia, so we need to run 3 of him. Single copy of Double, because again, we're just running the Double or Nothing at 1. So going too far above that doesn't really matter so much. We are going to run 1 Chaos 39 Utopia Ray. Yes, that is an ultimate first ed, so it's awesome. We are going to run a single copy number F0 Utopic Future. And I didn't go with Future Slash. However, the Gaga Magician can work for that. I just prefer Future's effect. We do run the single S39 Utopia the Lightning. We're going to have a couple of Zexal weapons in here. We're going to run Leo Arms and Draconic Halberd, both at singles. And then we got to get on our boss character. We got to have 2 copies, Ultimate Dragonic Utopia Ray. Now, again, why isn't this at 3? Because this card's name is always treated as Chaos 39 Utopia Ray, which means when building your deck, this is going to have a very similar effect and interaction with itself as would Umi and Legendary Ocean, or Harpy Lady 1, 2, 3, Cyber Harpy Lady, and regular Harpy Lady, as all 5 of those guys are considered, well, girls, are all considered to be Harpy Lady at all times. So that's it. That's the deck list. That is everything. So again, I hope this proves that I can play Utopia not just as a side strategy, not just trying to one-punch the opponent, but maintaining the one punch because it's still a viable option at times. You guys can feel free to tech in anything else, like Twin Twisters could be good. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I still think that Strike is the better option if you're not going to run the impermanences or you're just unable to get them. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you have, if this has helped you out and you haven't already, do consider subscribing to the channel. I am going to get back into doing a few more deck lists a little more often, and still smatter in the other non-deck list content as well. And for those of you that were here for just that, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. For everybody else, let's see just how many times I can tangle my tongue while I go over the effects in this deck. So, real quick here. We're going to start with the Dwarf. During the main phase, you can special summon 1 Zubaba or Gaga from the hand. This is going to be okay because you do have a Zubaba. And we'll get to why Onomatopoeia is so good here in a minute. Let me stop shifting these guys around. This way you guys could read along. So during the main phase, you can summon one of those from your hand if this guy's already on the field. Now, if you control a Go-Go-Go or a Do-Do-Do, except the Dwarf, while this is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card back. It banishes when it leaves the field. You can use each effect once per turn. And just real quick, because I'm pretty sure I'm right, but you guys feel free to correct me in the comment section down below if I'm wrong. Going as Xyz material should actually still allow him to remain underneath the card as well as be pitched to the discard pile. So, yeah, this should be just fine. So again, 2 is the number I settled on. Utopic Onomatopoeia. This card is always treated as a Zubaba, a Gagaga, a Go-Go-Go, and a Do-Do-Do. So technically falls under like 5 archetypes for you. During the main phase, you can special summon 1 each Zubaba, Gaga, Go-Go-Go, and or Do-Do-Do monsters from the hand to defense position. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the remainder of the turn except Xyz. You can only use each effect once per turn, and what this means is we can drop him, and him, and where'd he go? And him, all for having boarded one of these already. So, pretty fantastic. I want to say this is reminiscent of Pendulum Summoning without needing to set scales, and I'm just absolutely in love with the card. So, absolute must. You need to run 3 of. The Ascended Sage. If you control no cards, you can special summon this from your hand. So again, this is a great starter. And again, we maximized it to 3 for this reason. And a Utopia Xyz monster that was summoned using this card from the field as material gains the following effect. If it is Xyzed, you can add 1 rank up magic normal spell from deck to hand. And this is going to, again, on us playing whether it's Utopia Double or Utopia, or for some reason you decide to go the long way about playing Chaos Xyz 39. As long as this is step 1, you're going to be able to go ahead and get your rank up immediately, which allows us to deck thin rapidly and make sure that we get all the cards that we need in our hand for our later plays. Armed Sage, again, another level 4. Again, this is very important. We're always going to go for rank 4s. If the only monster you control is a level 4 and is not named Armed Sage, Then you can special summon this card from your hand. A Utopia Xyz monster summoned using this card gains the following effect. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can add one Zexal Weapon ZW monster from your deck to the hand. Why is that important? Well, because on these two, we can go into actually grabbing 3 cards out of our deck, which is a lot of thinning. And this will allow us to, again, pick our options. And if this is our first card that we play, we won't have had any cards anyway. We can still set this up on the first turn without an opponent interaction. There's some very good things. Plus, this is going to wear down your opponent's hand traps rather quickly. Because, again, like Ash Blossoms once per turn. So unless they have like a whole mess of effect failures in their hand, this is going to be very hard to stop. And they're going to have to pick and choose. And this allows you to then pick and choose how you're going to try to play out. Again, since it's so good, we maximize this one at 3. We got the Gaga coat, double copies this time. If you control a Zubaba or Gaga, and again, remember, onomatopoeia is going to count as all of the things. It has to be a different name than this. While this is in the hand, you could special summon this. So again, another good extension effect. You could target one Go-Go-Go or Do-Do-Do in the graveyard, which could be our dwarf or the onomatopoeia. Special summon it. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the remainder of the turn except Xyz. Each effect once per turn. And again, this is why we went straight black on our extra deck. We wanted nothing but Xyz plays. It's one of my favorite ways to summon monsters, and this deck is just going to do this so rapidly for you. With the Zexal weapons, for the most part, they all activate similar. They can all equip themselves. Let's go over them. Lightning Blade, target one Utopia monster that you control. Equip this from the hand or field to that target. Give it the attack value here, so 1200. While this card is equipped to a monster, face-up ZW cards you control cannot be destroyed by opponent card effects. So Feather Duster and Lightning Storm are not going to do a lot of good here. If a monster equipped with this would be destroyed by a card effect like Lightning Storm or Raigeki, destroy this card instead. You can only control one face-up at a time of Lightning Blade. So again, there's a reason we're running it at 1s. And again, it was super searchable off of our Ascended, or sorry, the Armed. And so like just good card, great card. Whoop, there we go. Let's try that again. Pegasus Twin Saber, you can only control one of these at a time. If your opponent's life points are at least 2k plus on yours, you can special summon this from the hand. You can target one Utopia monster you control. Equip this as something that you control as an equipped spell that gives 1000 attack. Again, it's transferring its own attack power. Once per turn, when this card is equipped to a monster, you can negate a monster effect activated on your opponent's field. And again, this is going to be really great when you're trying to play through cards like Borreload Savage, or maybe they didn't quite get the timing for the Hieratic Spheres. This is going to help stop interrupts. So, good card, great card. Tornado Bringer. You can target one Utopia you control. Equip this from the hand or from the field. Give it the attack value of 1300 when you do. While this card is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot target that monster with card effects. If a monster equipped with this would be destroyed by battle, destroy this card instead. And again, you can only control one of these face up at a time. So again, there's a little bit of recycling that we're going to be able to do. Honestly, it's just best to play those 3. I know there's like 6 or 7 Zexal weapons, but those ones are the better choices. We do have Called by the Grave, and again, this is going to be so that we can play through our opponent's hand traps a little bit better. Target a monster in the opponent's graveyard, banish it. If you do, until the end of the next turn, its effects are negated as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. This is how we get hand traps out. We got the Double or Nothing. This goes with the Utopia 1 Punch, so you want to end up negating an attack. And then once a monster's attack is negated, target that monster. It can make a second attack during this battle phase, and if it does, the attack is doubled during the damage step only. Why is damage step only important? Not that we're doing it, but like Ring of Destruction would be a very good way to try to, well, I mean, it wouldn't force a tie anymore, but it would make it a definite target, as would like things like Magic Cylinder. So that's why it only jumps during the damage step when those cards cannot be activated. We're going to run 3 copies Generation Force if you control an Xyz monster, and again, it doesn't have to be Utopia this time. You can add 1 Xyz card from your deck to your hand. The point here is we want change tactics as fast as possible, so we got a little extra deck thinning. A Monster Reborn, good extension, great extension. And with the way that we can use the rank up magic, as well as Utopia shifting from form to form, this will still be able to build you up a character. Onomatopoeia, you can only activate 1 of these per turn, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Add up to 2 of these monsters from your deck to your hand. You cannot add 2 from the same category. Zubabo, Gaga, Go, 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 and Do, 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 which means Utopia, Onomatopoeia, or Utopic Onomatopoeia, is always a target for this, so you'll pick that +1. We got the pickup. Pickup will be continuous. When this is activated, you can add 1 Onomat card from your deck to your hand, so you're going to grab the para. And again, you can target 1 Zubaba, Gaga, Go, 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 or Do, Do, Do monster you control. All monsters you currently control become that monster's level until the end of this turn. Even if this card leaves the field, you can only use the effect of this once per turn. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. Again, sometimes your opponent's going to break these. It doesn't say that you can only control 1. So if you need to get another para, that's fine. It's here for the deck thin. We do have 2 copies, Rank Up Magic, Zexal Force. Target an Xyz monster you control, special summon from your extra deck a Utopia or ZW that is 1 rank higher than the monster you control, using it as material and transferring its own materials as well. If you do, take the 1 ZW or ZS from the deck and place it on top of your deck, which is amazing because then we get to stack into the card we want next. If our opponent's life points are at least 2,000 higher than ours, we can also banish this from the discard pile to draw a card. Each effect is a hard once per turn, but this means that you can do this when you're behind, play this, rank up, stack the deck, and additionally be able to draw into that card, adding it to your hand. So again, if you needed that Zexal weapon, you're good. You're good to go. Reinforcement of the Army, very simple card. This is going to allow us to add Warrior, level 4 or lower. I think Dwarf is like our only non-warrior as rock. So you got your Onomatopoeias, warriors. You got the the Ascended Sages as warriors. I did that out of alphabetical. Armored Sage, warriors. Even the Gaga coat is a warrior. And then, of course, these guys are level 5s, so they would be just illegal targets all round anyway. But this is also going to help us get into the plays we want. Let's talk about that Xyz change tactics. Why was that important? When a Utopia monster is Xyz summoned to the field, you can pay 500 life points, draw 1 card. You can only control 1 of these at a time. But again, if we go into Utopia Double, we draw a card. If then we use the Utopia Doubles effect, we go to Utopia, we could draw a card. We play another Utopia, we could draw a card. We play into the Lightning off of that, we draw another card. Again, it's going to cost 500 life points all the time, but this is also going to help us get our opponent's hit points above ours to where we can activate the rest of those effects. So very cool, very cool. 3 copies of Construction. Now this one's also pretty important. Reveal 1 card in your hand, and if you do, add 1 of the following from deck to hand, then shuffle the card that you revealed back into your deck. So all we're doing is trading 1 for 1, but very specifically, we're going to trade for a Zexal Weapon, a Zexal Sage, a Zexal Spell Trap, or a Rank Up Magic spell, because we are not going to be playing rank downs. And again, when you're dealing with the additional copies of like Xyz change and stuff, this is going to allow us to freshen up the hand and get into better options. And again, we're just picking the option. We're not guessing. And then again, impermanence is just my stun trap of choice. Target a face-up monster the opponent controls. Negate the effects until the end of the turn. Then if this was on the field when you activated it, any spell traps within the column are also negated. And if you control no cards, so again, your opponent's going first, you have this. You can activate this from your hand, and it's a turn 0 hand trap. So pretty important. I would say play it. But like I said earlier, Solemn Strike is still going to be way more budget than that. Effect Veilers if you don't have access to strikes. Just whatever you like. Moving over back into the extra deck, we do run the Abyss Dweller. And again, we're going to run a lot of rank 4s. Because again, that's kind of the point of this whole build. While this one has material that is attached that's originally water, all water monsters would gain 500. We don't care. Once per turn, quick effect, detach material from this card. Your opponent cannot activate any card effects in their graveyard this turn. So again, very, very important. Exaton Knight, again, like when I get behind, I go to this card. Once per chain during the main phase of my main phase or the opponent's battle phase, sorry. If the opponent has more total cards in their hand and field than me, quick effect, detach material from this. Destroy all other cards on the field, and the opponent takes no further damage this turn. So again, this is sort of like my panic button. If something's not going right, I'll develop into Exaton Knight and force a play. Gaga Magician is here for use with our Utopic Future, but is just good on its own anyway. You can detach material from this card, targeting an Xyz monster in the graveyard, except Magician, and special summon it with its effects negated. So again, this is just perfect. And again, here, if we go into number 39 with no materials, it is not going to be destroyed if it gets selected as an attack target. Because again, remember, that's part of its effect, so that's negated too. Additionally, a Utopic Future Xyz monster, and the way that they did that means that it could be Utopic Future or Future Slash. If this is used as material on that, then the Utopic Future gains the following effect: that during the main phase, you can detach 2 materials from this, target an Xyz monster you control until the end of this turn, change its attack to 4k, and negate its effects. So again, we can make Utopic Future worth 4,000 and bring it up to the god level of Obelisk the Tormentor and give it some serious push power. We do have the Gaga Samurai. Again, we went with this one instead of the Blade Armor Ninja because we did want double attacks, and this will work with the Rock character at the beginning of the deck, the Dwarf. So just generically 2 4s, once per turn, detach material. Target a Gaga monster you control. It can make a second attack during every battle phase this turn. When another monster you control is targeted for an attack while this card is in attack position, you can change it to defense, redirect the attack to it, and then immediately perform damage calculation. So there's not a lot of leeway in that last effect. It's a great defender, and this is the reason we chose this over that. Regular 39 Utopia. He's kind of going to be the key card today. When a monster declares an attack, detach material from this. You can negate the attack. If this card is targeted for an attack while it has no materials, destroy it again. If we bring it back with Magician, it's not going to have materials, but at the same time, we can force climb into other cards with it. We can still rank up magic with it, or we can just go ahead and go into Utopic Future. Well, not with this, not with Utopia, because it's a numbers card. You guys will see what I mean. Utopia double, 2 4s, quick effect, detach material from this card, add double or nothing from deck to hand, then special summon from your extra deck Utopia Xyz monster, except 39 double, by using this face-up card and materials that it has as the materials. If you do, the attack is double, but it cannot attack directly. This is treated as an Xyz summon. You can only use this effect once per turn. And again, if we're doing this with Xyz Tactics, there are some amazing abilities to draw a lot of cards really rapidly, just because you want to. Chaos 39 Utopia Ray, generally used by stacking 3 level 4 lights. Can we do it? Earth, light, 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 earth. Doesn't really count because they're 5s. So yeah, you can do it. You can also Xyz this by using one number 39 Utopia you control as material, or sliding from double to it. Xyz materials attached to that would transfer. You can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. It gains 500 attack, and 1 monster the opponent controls loses 1,000 attack until the end phase. This creates a good 1,500 point imbalance. Additionally, if you did this off Utopia double, this is staggeringly higher. The only caveat here is you must have 1,000 life points or less to activate and resolve this effect. So he's in here because he's cool looking. I wanted him in here. And honestly, he's a step up. He's a separate route instead of using Prime today to go into Lightning with 2 shots. We are going to have the number F0 Utopic Future, 2 Xyz monsters, same rank except numbers. The original rank of this will always be treated as 1, cannot be destroyed by battle, and neither player takes battle damage from any attack involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can take that monster until the end of the battle phase, which means we can slap their monster that's huge, not worry about the damage, take that huge monster, and then slap them with their own monster, or get it out of the way for something else to attack. If this face-up card on the field will be destroyed by a card effect, you can detach one material from this instead. And again, we can go from the Gaga Magician overlay into this by pulling back another character, or we can do 2 strategies at once. It's all good. And we can make this guy into a 4K whoop stick. So that's also amazing. Number S39, Utopia the Lightning. 3 level 5 lights. We're never going to do that. You can also exceed this by using any rank 4 Utopia monster you control as material, transferring its materials. This is considered an exceed summon. If this card battles, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Stop! Real quick, when this card battles, it doesn't say attack. So if your opponent thinks they're going to attack and then drop Honest, they're wrong. It just won't work. Additionally, this is going to make it like Ancient Gear Plus. So, awesome. Okay, let's restart. So, there's that. And then once per chain during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster while this has a Utopia Exees monster as material, and again, that's sort of important. Quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card. Doesn't say it has to be the Utopia card. This card's attack becomes 5k during the damage calculation only. So again, you're never really going to go from double, you're never really going to go from double to this. But this is an option to rank yourself up. We're also going to run 2 Zexal weapons in here, like I said earlier. We're going to have the Dragonic Halberd, 2 level 5s, cannot attack directly. Once per turn, detach material from this card, add a Zexal spell trap from your deck to the hand, which is fine. You can target 1 Utopia you control, equip this card to it, give it the attack power. It'll gain 3,000. When the equipped monster destroys a monster by battle, you can special summon to your field any number of Zexal weapon monster cards equipped to it. So this means that they can all jump out and take a swing themselves. And most of them can re-equip from the field afterwards. So it's a very cool change-up tactic. We do have Leo arms. Again, 2 5s. Cannot attack directly. Once per turn, you can detach material from this card. Add 1 ZW monster from deck to hand. You can target 1 Utopia monster you control. Equip this to that monster on the field. It gains the power here, 3,000. During the battle phase, if the equipped monster attacks this turn, you can send this to the graveyard. The equipped monster can make a second attack on your opponent's monster during this battle phase. Not as good, but can be relevant. Especially if you're using lightning, since that attack will also be unrespondable. And then 2 copies of our cool new character from Lightning Overdrive, the Ultimate Dragonic Utopia Ray. This requires 3 level 5s, or we're going to use the rank up magic, if we're being honest. This card's name is always treated as number C39 Utopia Ray. Covered that in the first section. So for deck building, you can have any combination of this and C39 as long as it doesn't exceed 3 copies altogether. The effect, once per turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this card, or when this card is targeted for an attack, quick effect, you can equip 1 ZW from your hand or deck to this card as if it were equipped by that monster's effect. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, then target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Zexal weapon or ZW monster cards equipped to this card and negate their effects. So he lends kind of a really cool, strong control element to the deck. There was one more I thought about playing, and that was Utopia Beyond. Excuse me. And I thought a little bit better than to do that today just because I felt like it would be derivative. But for everybody who doesn't know what Utopia Beyond does, let me just pull him up. You would play him off the rank up magic. And the easiest way to play him would be to use your lightning as a step up off the magic, since it's already a rank 5. If this card is exceed summon, the attack of all monsters your opponent currently controls becomes 0. And then, of course, once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card as a quick effect. Target a face-up exceed monster you control and 1 Utopia monster in your graveyard. Banish the first, and if you do special summon the second, target and gain 1250. He would just be like a derivative, drop all your opponent's monsters to 0 tactic. So again, I have it. I didn't throw it in. If you guys have it and you want to play it, and you have most of my extra deck, Exaton Knight's one of the harder ones to get your hands on. So maybe count him out. Or if you have limited resources and you didn't want to go after 2 of these, the Dragonic Utopia rays, that makes a good switch out as well. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. Went a little bit over today. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day, my friends.